Hello, everybody. This is Phasey TV, and I'll be reacting to what culture, wrestling, how WWE should finish Cody Rhodes' story. Okay, let's go.
So look, this is the chat that keeps on going, but man, I tell you, I think we need to throw more credit in the direction of one Cody Rhodes. And you can even extend that to WWE as a whole, because let's go back to WrestleMania 39 when the American Nightmare did get pinned, and then fast forward to August 2023 and turn your ears on, just in case you accidentally turned them off, what's happening in arenas around the world. That's right, he's getting bigger reactions than ever. Oodalally. I mean, they've become so absurd. If you were to walk in here right now and say, I still think that Roman Reigns should have lost at Mania, that's totally cool, you're allowed your opinion, but I do think the argument falls a little bit flat. It basically worked out. And sure, maybe now it would have been times two if we had done that, but that is ifs and buts and who the hell knows. At the end of the day, when you do look at WWE's bottom line, they are absolutely smashing it. I mean, attendances, live gates, merchandising, television ratings, everything is through the roof to the point when it rains, I'm totally screwed. And look, they are in a great spot, which means wrestling is in a great spot, and long may that continue. Anyone that walks around poo-pooing success, well, once again, I just think you need a hug. After defeating Brock Lesnar, though, in what I thought was an awesome three-match program, we do now need to sit down and put our thinking caps on and decide, well, what do we do with Cody Rhodes next? Now, there's no real wrong or right answer to this, as long as when we do come out the other side, we haven't destroyed the momentum. Ah, precious momentum. Because if we do play our cards right, that'll be an interesting game to play, you may be about to create John Cena 2. And believe you me, if Vince McMahon could go into a lab and create a wrestler, that's what he'd make. Now, if you have been watching the program recently, you will see that we keep teasing this new program with Seth Rollins, maybe for the World Heavyweight Championship, but then it doesn't happen because it stalls, and I think that's intentional. And I don't mean that in a negative sense, but I do mean it that I think WWE has had the plan written down on a piece of paper since the dawn of time, because we're going to get to April 2024, we're going to get to WrestleMania 40, and that's right, you can bet your ass on this, we are going to do Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes Part 2. Everybody loves a sequel. Because WWE knew that Roman would win at WrestleMania 39. They knew they'd get to Money in the Bank and the Usos would pin Roman Reigns. They knew they'd then get to the SummerSlam and Jey Uso would do what he did. And they know that at some point Solo Sikoa is going to turn on the Tribal Chief, and they know they're probably going to do that match at the Royal Rumble. Then you may even get a Bloodline 4-way at some point, and my word, that will make me do the dance of joy. And I bet Triple H does have this written down on his magic piece of paper. And for the first time in a while, what we did is we came up with a plan and we didn't deviate. And look, I've been watching WWE for the past 20 years and they love to deviate, which is another reason I ain't gonna moan about it. Because even if some people are done with this, which is totally cool, once again, when we go back to the statistics, well, the majority are not, and they're still loving it. Like McDonald's. And what I really want to happen is that all of this should bleed, there's an ironic word, down the rest of the card. I mean, Sheamus discussed this in an interview he did recently, where he was all like, well, we all need stories like the Bloodline, it's massively important, and he is totally correct, because here's what happened. Oh man, you invest in the Bloodline stuff and you watch WWE, you're like, ha ha ha, this is absolutely fantastic. Well, it does have to end eventually, and before we do have our new main event narrative, what you can do is have other stories throughout the show, and that will make sure you don't go anywhere and you want to tune in. And you know what it also does as a byproduct? It introduces you to new superstars. Which is what does bring us back to Cody Rhodes, because I'm totally convinced that a part of this is him becoming the super duper Universal Champion at WrestleMania 40. Because if you're not doing that, after you've defeated Brock Lesnar, why the flub wouldn't you go after the other championship, the World Heavyweight title? I mean, wouldn't that be the first thing he did after you had such a victory on the Raw after SummerSlam? But what did Rhodes do instead? He was like, ha ha ha, my mum mentioned that Brock Lesnar acknowledged me, and just in case that one didn't click in your brain, yes, that was a reference to the head of the table. And the counterpoint to that is always, oh yeah, but Simon, I've seen Jey Uso beat Roman Reigns now in that tag team match, so it's not going to be the same if Cody does it. Now look, I would totally agree with you if wrestling was real. I don't want to be that guy, but it's not, because stories are front and center of this nonsense. I mean, there is a competitive aspect to wrestling, but not in that sense. So if Roman does walk into WrestleMania 40 as a sad panda because he lost his bloodline, and he lost his friends, and he lost his advocate, and he lost his wise man, and all he has left are these trinkets, and then he loses those too, well, that's wonderful. And it's a good life lesson. Don't be a dick.
until...
Cody can still become the man, Roman can still cry, and it gives you two amazing directions throughout 2024. And don't forget, we are trying to build multiple stars here. We're not relying on one. Also, let's go back to earlier. You've seen the reactions the American Nightmare's been getting. Do you think if he's the guy to beat Roman Reigns, all of a sudden people are going to go boo, boo? No, of course they're not. That would be 2 + 2 = potato. Because don't forget that we do have to take the power that is currently in Reigns' hand and pass it to somebody else. That means we're going to talk about Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker from WrestleMania 30. And I know this debate will go on until we're all dead, but the hill that I will die on is that of course Brock Lesnar was already a star, but when he was the guy to finally say, haha, dead man, I'm taking your record, he just became this unstoppable end-of-level boss to the point it's been 10 years and he's still riding that wave today. I mean, you can even say it was similar with John Cena versus The Rock when they did those 2 back-to-back WrestleManias. When they were done, I would say that Johnny Boy, he too was a bigger star. And look, they would have been fine either way, as will Cody Rhodes, but I want him to get into the stratosphere and I want him to get to levels he never even dared dream of. And the way to do that is just to look at the situation and go, all right, let's put a rocket on this guy and smash through to the alternative dimension of joy. And who doesn't want to be there? I'm also convinced in around about 18 months' time, Roman Reigns probably will go explore Hollywood, and more power to him, he should do that. But that's why you need another guy ready to go. And who is in that position, or who's best suited to that position? Well, you've already figured it out because you are smart. It's Cody Rhodes. And I know that's the obvious choice, but sometimes in life, the obvious choice is the right one. Like if someone gives me a sandwich, I don't want to stick it up my ass. I want to eat it, because again, obvious choice. I also do think when you look across the rest of the roster, there's nobody that ticks that box as much as him. And sure, you could give it to a Bron Breakker or Carmelo Hayes. They should be put on the main roster and also pushed to the moon. But you're only going to get them up to a certain level, probably where Cody already is. So this is simple maths. If Bron Breakker is there and Cody is there, and Bron beating Roman's going to put him there, then give it to Cody, and then Cody gets there. What? But I really do think that is the way to get mega longevity out of a character. And also, let's just look at the situation as realistic as we possibly can. WWE doesn't even like having surprise winners of the Royal Rumble, so I don't think they're going to do it here. So let's just approach this matter in the best way possible and get the best possible result, which is Cody. No ifs, no buts, no babies, bam, done. Also, I don't think Brock does all these clean losses, which is what happened if he hasn't been given the wink, wink, nudge, nudge and told what the plan is in 2024. Because seriously, getting your time machines and go through all of Lesnar's programs, that does not happen very often. Even when he was tangling with Roman, there'd always be some kind of shenanigans. And I'm sure that he likes Cody too, but I just think that all of this is written in the stars, which is somewhat ironic as well, because of course Cody was Stardust when he left in 2016, and when he returned, everyone was like, oh my gosh, I bet Vince McMahon makes him Stardust again. Well, I'm happy to tell you that's not going to happen, and even if it did, right here, right now, I actually think that Cody would probably make it work. Just what he does. Also, we have moved all the other major players out of this now, which we should have done because the Usos are going to feud and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are doing their own thing, and Solo will not be the guy as much as I would like him to be, which just leaves Paul Heyman. Imagine if Paul Heyman became the Universal Champion. Oh my gosh, I need it. It does just mean that the last dude in it all is going to be Cody Rhodes, and once again he has been hinted at it. So this is what I want to happen. And look, if it fails and it's an absolute disaster, I don't care. We have 52 weeks of programming. Just spin on a dime and come up with something else and give it to none other than Repo Man. You know it makes sense. Now, of course, this is going to have sparked everybody off, so make sure you get in the comments and let me know what do you think about all of this and what should we do with Cody and Roman, blah, blah, blah. Then look, there's another why/how video on the screen. Give it a click.
That was a good video by What Culture Wrestling. This has been Phasey TV. I'll see y'all next video.